message this morning is on joy, thinking about how can we find joy during the difficult times in which we are living. I don't know if we have any figure skating fans among us today, but I've always enjoyed watching figure skating. So back in the spring when they had the World Championships, I watched some of the figure skating. Now, I can't skate at all, ice skate, to save my life. I remember as a teenager, our youth director bringing us to Bojangles Coliseum, which was a big deal then, for ice skating. And I remember holding on to the railing as I went around, as did most of my peers. The World Championships are the next biggest thing to the Olympics. And so it's a huge achievement for anyone to medal at all in either one of those competitions. Um, you're looking at some of the best athletes of the world.
Mhm.
But even to get a gold medal is even bigger. And the US took away three different gold medals. So it was pretty amazing. And I think we have a lot to look forward to with the Olympics coming up this winter. But in leading up to the World Championships, there was one person that I really wanted to see, and that was a young lady, Elisa Liu. Now, she is a 19-year-old American who competes in women's singles. She was a prodigy at the age of 13, having won the U.S. Women's Championship gold medal at the age of 13. She's a tiny little lady, U.S. citizen, Chinese descent, and is just spectacular. So, having had the high achievement and not being old enough even to go to the Olympics or the World Championships, the expectations for her in the years ahead were extremely high. So, she competed, did very well, went to the last Olympics at age 16. And after the Olympics, she announced, I'm retiring. I'm not going to compete anymore. She said she wanted to live a life as a normal teenager, which I think we can all relate to and understand. So for 3 years, she did normal teenager things. Then it happened that she went skiing with some of her friends and had so much fun. And it triggered her to think, maybe I could get back into figure skating again. Maybe it can be fun again too. So she dug her skates out of storage and began to skate again. And last fall, she began to compete again. And she said, this is fun. I'm enjoying it. I just want to have fun. She never expected to place or medal, but she did start doing very well very quickly. And this young woman who just wanted to have fun won the gold medal at the World Championships. Now, if you want to have some joy this afternoon, go on YouTube and look for her. Both of her programs, long and short, just exude joy. You can't watch them and not smile. She was having such a joy-filled, wonderful time that before both of her events, before she took to the ice, she did a cartwheel. Just a cartwheel as she went onto the ice. So after the event, when she was being interviewed by the news, the announcer asked her, there must be some meaning or special ritual you are doing. Why did you choose to do a cartwheel? And Alicia Lou said, well, cartwheels are just fun. And I'm reminding myself to have a fun
Mm.
time. So, in the midst of unbelievable pressure and expectations that could rob anyone's joy, let alone a 19-year-old just wanting to have fun, she found a way to make it fun. She wasn't worried if she was medal. She didn't expect that she would. She just wanted to be joyful. Now, I believe that many of us naturally feel some joy with summertime. I can remember, as I know you can too, what it feels like for kids on that last day of school when you have the whole summer ahead. Swimming, picnics, cookouts. Oh, and that salty smell of the ocean when you first arrive at the beach. And the first taste of that fresh watermelon or corn on the cob with that butter melting over it. Or a bird song in the early morning. Joy is all around. And yet we all know that we are living in extremely challenging days like we've never experienced before. We have a lot of work to do as we seek to live out our values in this world. We have a heavy load to bear if we are on the receiving end of the attacks or if we are fighting for those who are on the receiving end, the marginalized and those affected and harmed. And as we do this work, joy is critical, even though it's very elusive sometimes. But we cannot do this work without finding some joy. To live out our values for justice, we have to be grounded and centered and focused, and joy is an essential part of that. Now, I know many people are talking about how hard it is to feel joy these days. So, what keeps us from feeling joy? Maybe because we're just exhausted, we're tired, we're worried, or we're angry, or maybe we just keep doom scrolling constantly through the news, listening to all of the terrible things taking place. But I think all of this adds up to the biggest obstacle we are experiencing to keep us from experiencing joy is fear. The people in power these days want us to be afraid. They want to rob us of any joy that we might feel. Fear is the tool historically of all autocrats. They want people to feel fear so they don't defy or will preeminently obey. Fear robs joy, and people become afraid to boldly live out our values. We become afraid to show love, compassion, inclusivity, welcoming, hope, and joy, waiting for the next shoe to fall, as they say. But if we can experience joy in the ordinary moments of life, this combats fear and tools of oppression. Joy in the ordinary is actually available to each and every one of us every day in a multitude of ways if we just look for it. Brene Brown shares these words about ordinary joy. Joy comes to us in ordinary moments. We risk missing out on joy when we get too busy chasing down the extraordinary. Our culture may keep us afraid of living small, ordinary lives, but when you talk to people who have experienced great loss, it's clear that joy is not a constant in life. It's those ordinary moments. Without exception, people will speak of what they miss in the ordinary moments, such as after the passing of one's husband, someone said, oh, I used to come downstairs and see him sitting at the kitchen table every morning, cussing at the newspaper. If I could just experience that one more time, it would bring me joy. And another said, my mom used to send me the craziest text because she never learned to type on the phone. And she never quite learned how to use the phone. And so a lot of her texts didn't make sense, but I would love to get one of those texts right now. The greatest joy is in those ordinary moments. Now, we all love the mountaintop experiences, times where it's just so much overwhelming joy, and it's everywhere. Weddings, anniversaries, birthday parties, the birth of a new baby, graduations, award ceremonies. There are so many. And we love those times, but we don't live there. We can't stay there. That's not our journey. It's the ordinary moments of joy that are the lifeblood of a life of joy. Spirituality tells us to focus on discovering sacred moments of joy in the everydayness of life. Might be the smell of that fresh cornbread out of the oven. And I say that because Larry makes the best cornbread. It might be at the end of the day when you've had company over and you've finished cleaning and that kitchen is just sparkling. It might be the smell of fresh clothes that were hung out to dry in the sun, or just a good old belly laugh or a hug from someone. When we look for the joy in ordinary days, the moments of joy will add up to a lifetime of joy that will overpower that fear and worry and anger. Brene Brown has spoken a great deal and uses the term microdosing joy. Microdosing joy is exactly what I'm talking about, looking for those little moments that bring us joy, the little things that we often just move on from so quickly without a second thought. Now, it might be to go back and watch a Lisa Lou's figure skating routine, as I have done. Oh, and Larry, he loves to go back and watch those winning games when he knows his team won over and over again. And I'll come in and I'll say, what football's on? And it's an old game where his team won. Or watching those puppy videos or laughing at the penguin memes on Facebook. Or when you walk in the backyard and that beautiful rose is blooming and the aroma is just breathtaking. So many ordinary moments that we need to take advantage of to microdose joy into our lives. Now, earlier this week, I sent out some questions about joy and finding joy in our lives. So let's take a few minutes to talk about our everyday micro dosing of joy. Let me read those questions again, and you may have some other thoughts that I didn't even touch on in the questions. But what brought you joy this past week or this past month? What makes you feel the most alive? Is there a scripture verse or a poem or a quote that tends to bring you peace and joy? What activities or experiences make you lose track of time? And I know we've all had that, and we look up at the clock, it's like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I'd been doing this for 2 hours. What's something that you do regularly? A hobby, maybe, that brings happiness. Simple pleasures that you cherish. What energizes you? What practices or habits could you intentionally incorporate into your life to increase your joy? And what simple things can you do to help bring joy to the lives of those around you? I would love, or we would love, to hear your thoughts about how you are finding joy during these difficult days. I know that I can say, as most of you know, I just came back from visiting family, and we had big moments, but it's the little moments, the funny little things that my grandchildren say that I think back on that make me smile or laugh. It's those precious moments, just a moment, just a few seconds in time. And I know Ashanti has had some this week with her new housemate.
Yes, there's a lot of things. As I often tell you guys, there's a lot of things that I'm thankful for and that makes me happy. I lost a dog 9 years ago. His name was Rondo. He was a standard poodle and he got hit by a car. So I thought that I wasn't going to have a dog again because Rondo was like the best dog ever and his soul was so sweet and so calm. And it's so amazing that I got Coogee now, and he's a Cavapoo, and a Cavalier is like a Cocker Spaniel, looks like a Cocker Spaniel, but it's small. And then of course a small poodle, and you put those two together, and you got Coogee. But I watching him and learning him and just getting to know him, he has the same spirit and sweetness as my Rondo did. And I thought that was really amazing that I thought that I wasn't going to find another dog like Rondo. I said that no one can be as special as Rondo. They couldn't have another dog that had the same spirit or the sweetness. And Coogee has that same spirit and sweetness. So I thought that was maybe some type of, I don't know, something that I was supposed to have him. I was supposed to go get him, and he was in the puppy store for 4 months, and no one wanted him. And when I got him, he gave me a big hug, and he didn't want to get away for them to go clean him up and make him cute for me to take him home. So it feels like I'm supposed to have him. He's a little frustrating right now because he's a baby, but that's what babies do. But he's sleeping in his little pop-up tent, so he calmed down. So he calmed down. So I'm thankful for that and the joy that he does bring. He's a little frustrated, but I just got to be patient with him, just like with the baby. And the other thing is that I had all three grandchildren for 2 weeks. I was running around like crazy. Oh my God. I was just sitting here yesterday saying, oh my God, I feel like I've been running for like 2 weeks. And I have been. But it was a joy to see them all together, and all three of them are so tall, and they're really nice people, and we had a good time together and took pictures with them. So all those things are memories because they're going to be going on to their own lives and doing their own thing. I'm grateful for my children and my children's children. Where I find peace is here at home. I like being at home in my patio. I can sit on my patio and look at my plants and look up at the Carolina blue sky, which is so beautiful. The sky's different every day, and I look at it every day. And at night, you see the stars. I mean, really simple things, that make me happy and at peace. A great dinner, because everybody doesn't have a great dinner every night. You cook some salmon and some asparagus or whatever, and be thankful that you have a nice dinner that you could sit down and AC. So there's a lot of things that make me happy, and they're very simple and things that you might overlook, as you said, Melba. You might like a hot shower. You might overlook a hot shower, but that's very wonderful, to have a hot shower and to get clean. So there's so many things that I could write. I can go on and on and on about that, but I'll stop there so someone else can talk. But there's a lot of things that I see that are very precious and very, very beautiful in that moment.
And it doesn't have to be your pet. My son and his wife, they don't have a dog or cat because she's highly allergic, but some of their neighbors do. And when their neighbors are out walking their dog, Maddie will say, "Can I pet your dog?"
Yep,
And the giggles when that dog starts licking her face. And she'll
yep.
say, "Again, again," with her little Canadian accent, "Do it again." And it's just that fleeting moment that she is so full of giggles
Yeah,
and laughter.
yeah.
So it's around us if we just
Yeah, just take a moment to
notice it.
look. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Others.
That's so sweet. The laughter of children is like one of the best
Oh
things in the
yeah,
world.
especially the giggles when they giggle really
It's
hard.
it's such good heart medicine. It really, really is. And I'm my y'all know this by now, but like my sister's getting married in a couple of months, and um they're not in a hurry to have kids, but I let them know, when y'all are ready. Auntie Liz is very ready to
Yes.
be right there.
Yeah.
Because children are just so special and wonderful, and they're such a great reminder of hope and possibility. And especially with the way things are going on in the world right now, it can be kind of hard to remember hope and possibility because it can just feel like everything's depressing. But
Hmm.
Yeah.
like to everyone's point, like there are still moments of joy, and that's what's going to get us through is that
Yes.
optimism. And
Yes.
so whether it's spending time with the fur baby, I slept in a little bit this morning because well, I stayed in bed a little bit long this morning because my cat came up and was snuggling with me in the bed. I was like, oh, I just want to like take 5 more minutes and just really enjoy this. And it was just so sweet. And
Hmm.
that's a small thing, but it was also like a big thing because my cat is not necessarily the most affectionate
Mm.
sometimes. And then like last night I went and celebrated a friend's birthday party, and uh, that was just really, really great joy. And I've started just for myself. I started writing again. It's been a long time since I did any writing. I used to write poetry as a kid, and um, I'm starting to get back into that, and that has been a really joyful
Hmm.
exercise for me.
That's a type of meditation too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're getting everything out
Mm-hmm.
onto the
Like
page.
journaling, but it's a
Yeah.
poem. Mm-hmm.
Thomas, I think you like to read, don't you?
Yeah, somewhat. Um, I was going to say that, you got to go looking for joy.
Yes.
You can't just expect it to come to you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my third wife was on home dialysis for 5 or 6 years. And last 3 years of her life, she was disabled, and I had to take care of her. And she went into hospice and died in a couple of weeks, and she was happy. So when I moved to Charlotte after that, I began to rediscover myself. I've been held down by the, you know, hard times for so long that I didn't even know it anymore. And when I moved to Charlotte, slowly began to climb out of my shell. And that process has been overall joyful. And now I really, really like listening to old music in the morning. Uh, this week I listened to Beatles concert from 1965, Shea Stadium. Those guys were pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh, this morning was Roy Orbison. And you remember Roy Orbison?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
but I like going for lunch. I take joy at every chance I get because I know what it's to be without joy, and
Yes.
it's no fun.
Yeah.
Another grandma little story was we had planted some seeds when I was in Calgary, and when I got home a couple days later, my son called and said, Maddie wanted to talk to you, and she was so excited. Mama, you've got to come back. You've got to come back. There's leaves. There's leaves where we planted seeds. You've got to come back and see them. So maybe we need to notice those little leaves of things in our lives that make us happy. I mean, just tiny things. Most of us would have said, "Oh, there's getting some leaves down there," but she was exuberant, and I think we have the joy. We just kind of run over it, maybe.
Yeah. Because we're too busy, life is too busy, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have time, or I'm upset, or something happened at work and you can't even see. And I feel that's why it's important to have quiet moments in your from just stop all the hustle and bustle. You can do your emails later, you can call later, you can do that report later. Just take a moment just to sit and be quiet. Just be
Agree.
quiet. And then your mind will quiet down. It'll bounce around to different thoughts. It'll bounce around, but once the more you stay still, then maybe God can come in, or a message from an angel can come in, or other things that can come in to let you know that you're good, you're
Yeah,
all right. Everything's all. I say this mantra, I guess you can call it, to myself when I get like nervous or I worry some, and I say, I'm all right. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
all right. I'm going to be all right. Everything is all right. I'm all right. And just to remind myself, I'm okay. Everything's going to be okay. Everything is okay. Even if it's not, but in that moment, you're all right because you're breathing, you're thinking, you're here. Be present, you're
Mm-hmm.
here. And I'm thankful that I'm here in this moment, even though it's crazy out there. But in this moment, right here now, I'm all right. I'm safe. I'm cool. I have food. I'm provided for. I'm good. And you just stay quiet in that moment. And then after that, you can go back to the craziness. But just that moment, just take that moment. It was a crazy day. And if you had a crazy day, that's all the more reason to shut everything down and just be. Just
Mm-hmm.
be. You light your candle, you can just look at the flame. And the flame, when you look at the flame, it helps you to let your mind wander. because you're just focusing on that flame. You're not thinking about the person that got you upset. You're not thinking about the person that was rude on the phone because you're looking at the flame, and the flame flickers, and it lets your mind sort of, it wanders after that. And if you let it wander, it'll calm itself down. And then at that time, you could think about some good things that did happen during the day that you forgot about. Someone brought you a jelly donut. Oh my God, I love jelly donuts. I know I'm not supposed to have it, but I'm going to have this jelly donut because my friend bought it for me. That was a joy because you love that jelly donut. That's kind of small,
Mhm.
but it made you happy at that moment. Eat the jelly donut with jelly all over your face. But it was good, and I was thankful for my friend that thought about me. I mean, those little small things. When I make a phone call to our friends here at Wedgewood, they're delighted to hear from me. So just
Yes.
in that moment, hey, how you doing? Oh, I was thinking about you. I'm just checking in and see if you need anything. Oh, think that's so sweet of you to call me. Just in that moment, it's just that 5 minute, 10-minute phone call. But in that moment, there's joy in that because someone reached out, or you heard my voice, or I heard their voice, and you say, "Hey, what you do today?" And very small things. If we pay attention, they're right there in front of us every day, every moment, every
Well, I
moment.
want to challenge us this week. We always like to have a challenge, and I challenge us to find something this week that brings us joy, that was unexpected, a small, ordinary moment. But I also want us to think of a way we can cultivate joy in someone else's life. We
Hmm.
all know people who are feeling down. Think this week about one ordinary, simple thing that you can do that might bring somebody you work with joy, a friend, a neighbor, the cashier at the store that you can tell is kind of drained. Think
Hmm.
about that. And let's take that as a challenge this week to bring more joy to ourselves and to bring more joy to others.